What is up, course heroes? Welcome to yet another video. This is your boy Amit, and today we are going to look at how to set up a professional looking blog on system.io. Let's get started. Now, before we get started on System, this is the blog that I'm going to replicate in System, and you can see this one is on WordPress, and I'm going to open a few of these blog posts to show you what they look like. But this is my blog homepage. It has a bunch of posts, and then the users can click on next to continue going to the next post. It's a very simple blog. There's a home button and an about button in the menu, and that's really it. And now let's head to one of the posts to show you what this post looks like. So I have the featured image, and then you can see the post title on the featured image. Then you have the author name and the reading time. And then I have the post itself. Now here I've also added a table of content, some key takeaways, and then it goes into your header, then image, then text, even externally linked some of these posts. Then I also have a little call to action for my visitors to check out other related posts. And then I keep going on with the same theme of header, image, text, link it out where I can, and then also provide a call to action where I can, and that continues throughout the post. Now at the bottom, I have the author image and then a little bio about the author. And then I have similar posts here at the bottom as well that my users can scroll through. So this is what we are going to replicate in system.io, and let's see how far we can get into this replication process. So let's head over to my system.io account. All right, I am inside my system account. If you look under websites, you're going to head over to blogs, and this is where you would create your first blog. Now, before we begin, I'm going to drop my system referral link in the description below. If you're new to system, consider using my link so I can hook you up with some free templates for your system school. Even if you don't go to the paid plan using my link, I will still hook you up. All you need to do is click that link and sign up for your free system trial, and I will deliver those templates to you. Let's continue. So in here, what I want to do is I'm going to go and create a brand new blog, and I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to fill out some of these details and be right back. Okay, I've given it a name. I've picked a domain. These are all the domains that I have connected to my system account. I'm on the webinar plan where I think I get up to 10 domains that I can connect. Then I have given it a URL path, and now I can pick one of these templates for my blog template. So there are lots to pick from. Obviously, just go through this, see which one you like best. I've already previewed a bunch of them, and I think for my reptile blog, I want to use this one right here. So I'm going to click select template, and you will see that green check mark. That means the template has been selected. Then I'm going to go and hit save. Now everything about this template is customizable. The blog itself is customizable, and I'm going to show you how it works in a few minutes. So here's my blog. It's created. Now out of the box, what system does is it gives you a bunch of dummy content, which is really great because now you can kind of play around with the look and feel, get it to where you really want it to be before you can start publishing content. So let's walk through some of the things here that we can do before we get into creating my blog and getting it to look exactly like it looks in WordPress or as close as possible. So when you're in your blog, you will see posts, which are your blog posts, and you can see these are all published. Then you will see pages. These are all out of the box. You can delete them, you can edit them, customize them, add more pages, add more blogs, and we're going to cover all of that. And then you will see category. Now, depending on the template you pick, these categories will be different. The post content will be different, and the pages will remain the same. So we have our posts, we have our pages, and then we have our category. So that's kind of like the basic structure of your blog inside of System. Now, up in the top right corner here, I have my blog layout. We're going to get into that in a minute. My blog settings, and then also view blog. So let's go and view our blog right now out of the box before we make any changes to it. You can see right out of the box, this is pretty good. You have your main blog header. You have a nice header image. If you click the explore button, you're taken down to your latest posts. Now the latest posts, you can see have your featured image. Then they also have your blog title and your blog description a little bit before the user can get into reading your blog. And you can see here, there are also the categories for your blog. So as a visitor, if I click on one of these categories, I'm taken directly to that category page, and any blog that's tagged with that category will be shown here. Super easy and pretty slick. Let's go back and see what else we have here. So we have some pagination happening here where your users can click through the different pages, and you can see here when I clicked on that page, this changed to page 2. So if I click on 1, it's going to go back to page 1. Down here there's also upcoming events. This isn't part of the blog, but this is a layout that you can create. So system has already created that layout for you. But you can also build this from scratch, super easy to do. And then finally your footer. So that's what my blog looks like right now. What I want to show you is how do you go about editing this blog homepage. So we'll go through that first, then we'll go through creating a brand new blog where I walk you through how can you create a blog that looks like my WordPress blog. So before we do that, let's go back. Now to edit that page, what you want to do is you want to go to pages, and the page that we were looking at is your home page. So you can either click on the home page here or you can click on edit. You can also duplicate this page. You can just view it. You can also say don't use blog layout, or you can go into the settings and change the name of the page. Now you can see that one of these don't have a check mark. That's because for my about page, I said don't use the blog layout. And if you do that, it's basically not going to apply that layout across your pages. So we're not going to cover that in too much depth because the idea of this video is to show you how that blog functionality works. So now let's go and edit our homepage to make it more reptilian and less music looking. So first thing I can do here is in this section, I can change the background image to match my blog images. All right, so what I've done is I have replaced that background image by clicking on the section. And when you click on that section, you can go into its settings, and right here where it says background image, you can add your own image. So I've replaced the image and I replaced the title. And one thing I have done here on the text is I gave it a text background, but changed the transparency to be a little less so that it's not that obvious, but easy for my users to read because of the contrast in colors. So those are the things I've done so far. The next is you'll see there's a menu up here and also a menu down here. We're going to leave this as is for now. I just want to show you how you can update the homepage to make it exactly how you want for your brand. And some of this is pretty intuitive. And then down here is your latest post. So how do you get your latest post here? Right now you can see it says blog post listing. What I can do is on the left side here, I can drag elements and drop them here. So there's a blog post listing element and a latest blog post element, and then also a latest blog post carousel. So let me drop that carousel to show you what it looks like. Let's drop it right here in the upcoming event. So this is what your latest blog post carousel will look like. Then I can go into my settings here and I can choose how many of my latest posts I want to show by dragging this toggle here. So right now it's set to 5, and you can kind of see the little dots here. That's how they can carousel between the different posts. But I can also change that color so those dots are more visible. And then same thing with the arrow. Right now the arrow you can't see, so I'm changing it to a much lighter color so my visitors can see that arrow. Another thing you can do here is you can choose which category of blog you want to show your visitors on the home page. Right now it's set to all categories. We're going to leave it at that. Then you can make some more changes here on your font size, font style, etc, etc. So all of that can be customized, but I wanted to show you how to pull in these dynamic blog elements onto your system page. Now similarly, what I can also do is I can add a blank section here, and in this section I can, let's say, add my latest blog posts. Now, depending on which element you use, you're going to have different settings for it. So for my latest blog posts, I have a bunch of settings here. I can choose how many posts I want to show per page. So maybe I want to show 6 posts here. Now, if I scroll down, it's going to show 6 different posts. Now, this is clearly taking up a lot of room, but we can change that as well. So we can choose to display this horizontally. And if I do that, you will see that now it's not taking up as much space. And this is now looking similar to this layout here. So that's how you can get this layout, is by changing it to horizontal. And then let me show you a few more things that you can do to bring it to this layout. So we have our horizontal layout. Now what I can do is I can change some of the spacing here to make it look even better. But I can also add a border. So right now there is no border. I can give it a border corner. So you can see that this is looking sleeker as I continue to play with these settings. Next, I can change the description font size. Right now it's too big. Maybe I can make it a little smaller, and I can also mess with the line height. What I also want to do is I want to change the color for the category and the title. So let's go look for that. The description color is fine as that dark gray, but there should be another color for the category. So here's the title. Let's change our title color to be much lighter. And then if we go up here, let's see if we can find the category color. Okay, here's the category color. I'm going to make this a little bit more darker. Perfect. Now, if I go back to my WordPress blog, you will see that there's a date displayed here. We can do something similar in system by clicking this show date button. Now that I'm showing the date, it's hard to read. So let's change the color on that date as well. Oh, now it's much easier to read the date. And you can also play with the alignments for any of these items. So if you want to move the title to the middle or the description to the middle, you can easily do that. For the date, I will also reduce the font size. I don't want it to be this big. So good. Okay, I like how it's looking so far. I'm going to just double check, make sure it looks good on mobile. Now, of course, on mobile, it's not going to stack horizontally. It's going to stack vertically. So that's perfectly fine. And I think we are ready to rock and roll. So that's how you can change your blog homepage. Now, a couple of other things I want to show you, but in order to show you that, what I want to do is I want to add some categories. Then we'll come back to this homepage and change this menu item right here. So for now, I've saved my changes. Let's go back out of here, go to categories. And here, what I want to do is I want to create a few new categories. So once you click on create for categories, you can fill out all of these details. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, I've given it my category name. It automatically fills in the path. I don't need to give it a description. You can if you want to. I've also given it a title for SEO purposes and an SEO description. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to repeat this for a few more categories. All right, so I have my categories all set. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to head back to pages. I'm going to go back to my home page. I'm going to show you how to change these categories here. So super simple to do this. And if you don't have this menu, let's say you want to start from scratch, you can simply go here in the left pane and look for menu. So here's a menu component. I can drag it and drop it here. And then once I have that, I can go click on settings and I can customize this. So let's make it from scratch, customize it. So let me show you how to customize it. I'm going to change the color and then also let's just change the font size to be much smaller. And now we can add those 4 categories. I'm going to delete this menu completely, go back to this menu. And the first one, we're going to select our turtles category. So I'm going to call it that exact name. And what this does is it links to that category page, and then any blog that you have categorized under that category, that's too many categories, will show up on that blog category page. So I've done turtles here. I'm going to say don't open this in a new window. It also does not have a sub menu. So I've done the first one, turtles. I'm going to say don't open this in a new window, and also it does not has a sub menu. Now I'm going to do the next one, which is also a blog link, and this is for lizards. Let's also align this in the center, and I'm then going to add 2 more menu items for the next 2 categories, which is chameleons and gecko. I don't know, some say it chameleon, some say it chameleon. I have no clue. Jiffy, Giphy, who knows? All right, so now my menu is set. You can see how it looks here. These are all the categories. And then under this, I have my latest posts. So I'm going to save my changes. And at this point, you can continue to edit this homepage to your heart's desire. You want to add some headline, you can add that here. Anything you can drag from the left side, just drop it there. Continue to customize it the way you want it. We're not going to spend much more time on this because I also want to show you how to customize your blog to make it look like the way we saw earlier with my WordPress blog. So I'm going to save all my changes here, and I'll share this link in the description. If you want to check out this page, please go ahead and check it out. For now, let's head over to our post. So now we have our categories set, we have our pages set. Next thing we want to do is create a blog post. So I'm going to go and create a new post. I'm going to click create button. All right, so I have filled in a short description. Now I'm going to fill in a title, and you'll notice once you fill in a title, it automatically adds that title as a URL slug, so you don't have to do it manually. If your title has spaces, which of course it will, system knows that, so it adds hyphens for your URL. Then I'm going to add a featured image for this blog. So I've uploaded 5 images here, and this one is my featured image. For now, I'm just going to upload all 5 because those 5 are part of my blog. And then I'm going to select this for my featured image. Let's just say crop and select image. And now that's going to be our featured image for the blog. And since this one is about lizards, I'm going to choose my lizards category and hit save. Now those other categories, you can go back here and delete them out if you don't need to use them. Now that our blog title is ready, I'm going to click into it and then we're going to start writing our blog post. So you can see here we have a breadcrumb that's there. We have our title, we have our date, and then we also have the image. The next thing I want to do is add some content to this blog so that people can come and read it. Before I do that, I want to show you what this looks like on my WordPress site. So this is the content. So I'm just going to copy paste it. Then we're going to add some table of contents and then key takeaways. So let's head back here. I'm going to add a piece of text, which is right here. And then for this text, I'm going to paste the one that I copied from my WordPress blog. Then what I want to do is I want to go back and look for table of contents, which is right here, and add that right under this. Now, one thing to note about table of contents, you can choose which headings it should pull and display those dynamically as part of your table of contents. And if that's confusing, we're going to get into it in a few minutes. So hang tight and watch me do that. For now, what I want to show you here is how to edit this table of contents. So first thing I'm going to do is change the title. So I've changed the title and I'm also going to change the icon color, and you can also change what that icon looks like for the open state and the closed state. Then you choose which headings should show up in this table of contents. I'm going to leave the H2s and H3s. So those two headings are the only ones that are going to show up in those table of contents. And then I want to change the color as well to white. So let's do that, and we'll add a darker background color. Now that's not going to look like much right now, but we're going to go and fix that. Then let's add a border radius and style. Let's just say none. This should show on mobile and desktop, so that's good. And everything else is good. I'm going to say the default state should be open, so the table of contents should already be open. Last thing I also want to do is change the color of the table of content. Perfect. Now that's looking good. I'm going to go and copy the next stuff and put it here. So this is the key takeaways. I'm going to copy the key takeaways, all these bullet points, and then let's go into our system editor and add those bullet points in here. So you can see there's a bulleted list here. What I want to do is I want to add some text and then the bulleted list. Now this text will be the key takeaways text. I'm going to delete the rest of the stuff from here. And the key takeaways, let's align it to the left, and then also let's make it bigger. And I want to change the text color as well. So I've changed my text color, but I can see that this is kind of close to my bullet list here. So I'm just going to add a little bit of margin to the key takeaway. So if you look here at the margins, I'm going to add some top and bottom margins so that there is some breathing room between key takeaways and our bullet points. So we have 10 pixels on top and then 20 on the bottom. That looks much better. Now what I can do is I can paste my bullet points. So these are my bullet points. And if I don't like that check mark, I can actually change it to a regular bullet and then also change the icon size and the icon color. Perfect. I like the way that looks. Let's continue building out this blog. Next, we have our overview with an image and some text. So we're going to go to that next. Now the overview is our first header, and that's an H2. So what I want to do is I want to change this to an H2, and I also want to align it to the left. Now I want to show you some tips and tricks on how to save some time instead of doing this every single time. So let's go and add our overview. Now what's going to happen is because I have added an H2, if I go back up here and look at this table of contents, it's going to pull in that H2. So I'm going to hit save changes, refresh the page to show you how those headings are going to get pulled into my table of content. All right, so once I refreshed it, you can see the table of contents is pulling in that H2. Now if I click on settings, what I have done here is I've changed the color of the H2s to depict that it's a link so that my visitors know that they can click this link. And I've also added a solid border around this to make the table of contents more prominent. Now let's continue to build out our blog. So we added our H2. Now I want to add some text underneath it and also an image. So let's go add the image here. And for the image, we already uploaded the images. So now that image should be part of our library. Although I'm not seeing it as part of my library, that's interesting. So maybe I'll just add a new one because I don't know where that images went when we uploaded the first set of 5 images. All right, here's our image. I've added it. Now we add the rest of the text, which is this one right here. So I'm going to copy that, paste it out. Now I'm going to change the alignment. And then this text looks too close together, whereas you can see this one's easier to read, not so close together. So we're going to change that as well. First, let's give it that paragraph break everywhere that we have in the previous one. And now what we can do is we can go into the settings and add some line height to make it more readable, giving some breathing room. So currently our line height is set to 24. Let's go to 27. That looks good. And the links were already copy pasted and the text was also bolded. But But if not, it's really easy to highlight something here and just add a link. So at this point, I want to continue to save my changes. So I'm going to hit save changes, and then we're going to continue. Next is our green iguanas. So I'm going to show you how to save some time in system. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to copy this header, and once you have cloned your header, just drag it down, get it to the spot that you want it to be, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the text. This way I don't have to continue to customize my heading and my text. I already have it exactly where I want it, so I can keep cloning those boxes. Now go and grab our actual text and paste it in here. Then we're going to paste this one as well. So I copied it one more time because there's this piece of text here that we're going to paste next. Now remember that in between these two pieces of text, I have my call to action. Let's see if we can build this in system. So what I want to do for this one is add a row. So let's go ahead and add this row here. And then in this row, we'll add this piece of text. For that, I'm going to add a text box, and let's just type it out exactly how it is in our WordPress. Alright, so I've added my text. It's obviously not looking exactly how I want it to, but we're going to change that and try to get it as close as possible. First thing I want to do is give some breathing room in between these two paragraphs. So I'm going to select my row and let's give it some top and bottom margin. So again, let's add 20 to the top and 20 to the bottom. So there's some breathing room. Next, I want to align my text. So let's go back to our text. Let's align it to the left. And then I'm going to select this piece here, make it bold. Then we'll go back to our row and let's give our row a background color so that it pops out a little bit, right? There is some contrast between what they're currently reading. And what I want to do is I want to change this transparency a bit and then also make this a little bit more brighter. Perfect. Now it's not exactly as this one right here, but we can still work on getting this closer to it. So how do we do that? First thing is I want to highlight this text and then I can link it out to a different article. So let's do that. What I want to do is take this article here from my WordPress and link this to my WordPress article. So once you have added your link, obviously it's a little hard to read. So if I add the link, you can see that this is okay. But previously it was the link color, which was this blue, and it was hard to read. So if you're facing that issue, you can just highlight the link and then change its color so that it's much easier to read, but your link is still retained. And then finally, I don't think we can give it this little corner edge here, but what we can do is we can give it some shadow. Now this shadow might not work because I already have a dark background, but if you had a lighter background, then that shadow will look really nice. It's going to pop out a bit. So just play with that. I can try to change the background color here, but because I've already set up the template, I don't want to mess it up. So just play around with the different backgrounds and see how you can make this pop. So as your users are scrolling, they're going to stop here. They're going to see this call to action and hopefully click on it and continue to be on your site and engage with your site. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed up this video, add all the other elements, and then come back. All right, the blog post is ready. There's one more thing, but before I get to it, I just want to show you a preview and also show you a side-by-side of what this looks like compared to my WordPress blog. So on the left is my system blog, on the right is my WordPress blog, and you can see this is pretty darn close to my WordPress blog. I'm pretty impressed on what system can do. Obviously there are a few limitations, like this one I couldn't get the little bar on the left side, but not that big a deal, especially if I can cut ties with WordPress and all the plugin updates and all the things that you have to deal with when you have a WordPress site. So this is looking pretty good, and again it's very close to its WordPress cousin. So the last thing I want to show you here is how do you set up the author box. So here's the author box. You can see it has an author image, author's name, and then also author details. Let's go and try to build this inside of system. So in order to build this, what I want to do is I want to add a new section, and let's try to build that inside this section. So first thing I want to do is add a 3-column layout, and then we'll add our image in the center here, and then the 2 horizontal lines on the side. So there was a horizontal line option here. Let's add that on each of the sides. And then what I want to add in the center column is an image, and then let me upload that image here. Okay, our image is uploaded. Now a few things I can see here is, first I want the horizontal lines to be center aligned on here. So what I want to do is click on the settings, and let's see if we can give it some margin to bring it to the center. Here we go. Let's go with 35. Same thing with this one here. Go to the line setting and we are going to give it a top margin of 35. I also want to make this image circular. So in order to do that, I'm going to hit settings again on the image, and then let's give it a border radius. Let's give it a full border radius of, let's go with 100. Perfect. Now I can see that the horizontal lines are kind of far away, right, compared to how they are in my WordPress where they are closer together. So we could try to tinker around, mess with it a bit and see if we can get any closer. Before I tinker with that, what I wanted to show you is if you click on this horizontal line, or actually if you just hover over it, you'll see the row alignment. So I'm just going to move that row alignment to center instead of giving it the margin. And then I've also removed the margin. So now the horizontal line is aligned to center and without using any margin. Then what I have done is I have added another row. So just drag and drop a row, and I moved my 3-column layout inside that row. I'm going to delete this extra row here, and now we can just simply copy paste the text for Samantha. I'm actually going to have a headline text here, and let's give this a H4, and we'll change the color to be white, and then I'm going to add some text below that. Go here, copy her bio, and then paste it up. Perfect. I'm going to make this text a little bit smaller and also change the line height. Go with 14. Perfect. Now what has happened is because we did this, the horizontal lines are no longer aligned with that image. So in this case, what I can do is I can add another 3-column layout right below this one, move Samantha's name and her bio, and you can see now the lines are aligned. So remember we added a row and then added the 3-column layout within that row. So what I want to do is I want to select just that row. And I think when I added this stuff, it got messed up. So I'm going to add a row again and move this 3-column layout within this row. And you'll see in a minute why I'm doing this. Now I'm going to go to the row, hit the settings, and let's add some left and right margin. So on the left, maybe I can do -50, and then same thing on the right, I'm going to do -50. So you can see that's shrinking this closer together. So let's keep playing with it, see if we can get it to, let's do -100 here and -100 here. Actually, I just realized system doesn't let me go in minus. So I thought I was typing in -100, but it's sticking to positive numbers, which is fine. It's still doing what we want it to do. All right, let's see one more time. 250 might be our lucky number. Nope, let's go with 300. Perfect. That looks good. That looks pretty close to my WordPress site. Now what I want to do is just give it a lighter color, maybe this gray right here. Yep, that looks better. I'm going to go do the same thing with this, change the color. All right, we are good to go. So I'm going to hit save changes, and then let's go look at the final preview for this blog with our author box. Then I'm going to come back and show you how to leverage this in other spots of your blog. So this is what our final preview looks like. The table of content didn't update even though we have our headers. So let me go and fix that. It's still pulling in only one header, which is this H2. So maybe I just need to go here and change all of these to H2. Okay, I've changed all of them to H2s, and now if I refresh this, it should pull up the correct one. I'm going to save changes. I can see it here in my blog itself, but let's go and look at the preview. Perfect. Now I can see all of the H2s, and if I click on any of these, it's going to scroll down and take me to the exact spot. That's what I wanted, and this is looking pretty good. Now let's look at our author box. For some reason, my author box isn't showing and it has disappeared. So continue to play with that. I'm not going to rebuild it again, but just know that once you have set it up correctly, what I would do is I would save it in your custom block, and that way you can easily just pull it from your saved blocks here. So I can go to my block, and once you have that author block saved, you go and find it under your block, and once you find it, you simply drag and drop. That way you don't have to rebuild it every single time. So that's how the blogging works. Now a few more things to show you here. We are towards the end of the video. Thank you for sticking around, and as a reminder, don't forget to smash that subscribe button so you get notified next time I release a video. So we looked at the blog by clicking on view blog. We have looked at the blog setting, which opens up this page right here, and then we also looked at the blog layout, so we can customize the blog layout as well. And then also we've looked at pages, we've looked at categories, we have looked at posts. Now you can see that this post is not published yet. So next thing I want to do once I'm happy with it is I can go on this 3 dots. I can either schedule it to be published in a future date and time, or I can click on activate activate, and that publishes it immediate. So I've activated it. Now it's ready for the world to see, and you can grab the link from the description, go check it out, see, play with it in real time so you get a feel for what this blog post looks like. Now, a few other things to note here. You can sort through your blogs between inactive and active, and that will automatically filter any blogs that are either inactive or active, or you can just search for a blog by typing the name, and then it'll filter only that blog. And then you can always create a new blog by clicking the create button. Now I realize that there are two things that I haven't showed you, which is the blog layout and the post layout. So let's quickly look at that. On the blog layout, what this does is in the middle is your blog content. So don't delete this because this is dynamic. It is how system is showing all of your blogs on that homepage. So if I go into preview, that blog content that's there, the placeholder, this part you don't want to delete, but everything else is completely customizable. You want to add new things, you can easily add a new section that gets added here. Let's just move it from here to here. In this section, let's say you want to add something, maybe a content box, you can add it here, or maybe you want to add a subscription form. You can go and find a form sign up and add that here. Super easy to do. I'm going to remove those things. The blog content is where all the content from your blog is going to show. So just remember to not delete that. So this is for your blog page. So your blog page layout separate from your blog home layout, which is what we already customized under pages. Then if you go to posts, you have a single post layout. So this post layout, you can see currently it has the blog title that's automatically pulling, the blog post date, and then some breadcrumbs. Then it also has the blog post featured image, and then the content, which was everything that we put inside our blog. Now, similar to how we edited the blog home layout, you can take anything from here and add it to your blog post layout. So let's say on my blog post, under this main blog post, I want to add a latest post column or latest post element. Then I can go into setting, make it horizontal, and say show the latest 3 posts. And once I've added this, just like we did earlier, we can customize everything. So maybe the description, I don't want it to be this big, and we can do the same for our title and our category. All of that you can customize within this like we did earlier. So let's change some colors, and then let's change the description color as well. And then the category size, I'm going to make it really small and change that color as well. So you can customize this. Now if I hit save changes, let me show you what this looks like on a blog post. So if I go to this blog post here, preview it, if we head to the bottom of this post, the latest post element is going to show up here because this is what we added to every single blog post. If I go back to my blog post layout editor, I can go back to this element and I can choose that, hey, only show a specific category. Then I can hit changes, or I can save changes. Now if I go and update it, so let's go look at that blog again, it's only going to show the category that I assigned, which was the lizard category. So it's not showing right now. Maybe it takes a few minutes to refresh, but just note that once you have changed the post layout settings, that's going to happen across all your blog. So in this case, I've said that on the bottom of every blog post, I only want to show lizards category. If I change it to turtles, then that will go into effect. I don't know why after saving the changes, why it's not working, but just know that that's how it should work. Then I can go and view my blog post, see if those changes have taken into effect. Yep, looks like it did because I had changed the category to turtle, but there are no blogs under that category. So to show you how this would work, if I go in these random blog posts that were kind of given to me as a out of the box canned blog post, I can go to their settings. I can choose different categories for them. So let's just pick turtles, do that for a few of them, just so we have enough to show you. And now if I refresh this, you can see that those 2 blogs with the turtle category are shown. And there you have it, course heroes. Thank you so much for sticking around. I hope you got to learn a lot about how to blog inside of System. It is super easy. Thank you again, System team, for giving us this powerful tool. I hope you all use it to your advantage. Let me know in the comments below, how are you blogging? If you have a blog, please drop that in the comments. I would love to check it out. If you have any questions for me, drop them in the comments. What kind of videos do you want to see? Drop them in the comments. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you get notified next time I release a new video. Until next time, keep creating.